Okay, let's continue our discussion for persons and family relations, no? So dito tayo sa March 15, 2003. Ano po ba ang significance nito? Ito po kasi effectivity date, as I said nung previous video, ng AM number 21110. Okay? So ito po yung AM 21110, ito po yung rules no na pinromulgate ng Supreme Court for petition for declaration of nullity of marriage at saka annulment of marriage. Okay? So, let's discuss po yung comparison, no? Before March 15, 2003 at saka March 15, 2003 and later. Okay. So, tandaan nyo po, ito, hindi po natin kailangan tingnan kung kailan naging, kung kailan na-celebrate, kailan na-solemnize yung marriage. Ang titingnan lang po natin, kailan ba nag-file ng petition? Okay? Hindi po natin titingnan, ulitin ko, kung kailan na-solemnize ang marriage. So, kahit na na-solemnize siya nung sabihin natin 1999. Pero pag nag-file po ng petition ng 2024, ang ifa-follow po natin ito. Okay? So, ano po ibig sabihin yan? Ito talaga, ito lang ang kailangan nyo talagang i-master. Okay? Kasi ito lang naman talaga itatanong sa inyo sa bar. Hindi naman na itong before. Okay? Kasi masyado na ano yan. 20, 20 years ago na siya. Okay? Sige. Pag to 21 na nga this year, no? Okay. So who may attack the validity of the marriage? So during the lifetime of the spouses, pag before March 15, 2003, any proper interested party may attack the status of the marriage. So ano po ibig sabihin nun? Yung magulang nung husband, yung magulang nung wife, pwede po mag-file ng petition to declare the nullity of the marriage. March 15, 2003 onwards po, during the lifetime of the spouses, only the spouses may attack the status of the marriage. Hindi po pwede mag-file ang ibang tao. Pero ngayon po, no, iba po ang treatment after the death of either spouse. Both or either spouse, iba po ang treatment. Pag po namatay na sila, no, yung spouses, either of them, the heirs can question the validity of the marriage during the estate proceedings. Okay, so the heirs, no, pwede po silang mag-contest whether before March 15, 2003 or March 15, 2003 onwards. Doesn't matter. Okay? They can question the validity of the marriage. So, ba't po nila i-question? Ayan, para maintindihan nyo. Kaya kasi kailangan minsan talaga bigyan ng context, no? Yung nakikinig, yung nanonood, para malaman nila kung bakit ganito ang treatment, no? At para mag-stick din sa isip nila, mag-stick din sa isip nyo kung ano ba yung nile-lecture natin, di ba? Hindi lang natin ibibigay yung law, ibibigay yung provision, ibibigay din natin kung bakit. Ano ba ang konteksto nito? So, ano po ang konteksto nito? After the death of either spouse, bakit po i-question ng heirs yung validity ng marriage during the estate proceedings or in the estate proceedings? Para po matanggalan ng isang heir. 'Di ba? So mas lalaki hati nila. Sabihin natin, walang anak. Sabihin natin, mag-asawa sila, wala silang anak kahit sino. Tapos sabihin natin si husband namatay, ah, yung mga magulang niya buhay pa. Okay. So anong gagawin ng magulang? Sabihin natin intestacy. Okay? Ang gagawin ng magulang, kung talagang void yung marriage ng ang anak nila at saka nung wife, sabihin natin, iko-question nila, i-allege nila yun dun sa settlement of estate proceedings. Bakit? 'Di ba? Kasi pag natanggal po yung wife, 'di ba? Hindi pala valid yung marriage, void pala, hindi na siya heir. So masosolo po ng magulang yung lahat ng ari-arian. That's how it works. Kanila lahat yun, intestacy, no? So yun po ang dahilan, ah yun po ang context, no? Why after the death of either spouse or both spouses, the heirs can question it. No? Okay. Before that, no, March 15, 2003 onwards, only the spouses can attack the status of the marriage or the validity of the marriage. So ngayon, ito ang tanong. Sabihin natin, si husband, 2 beses nagpakasal. May first wife, ito yung legal wife, at saka yung second wife. No? Siyempre, yun yung hindi legit kasi may first wife pa eh. And subsisting pa yung marriage nila, no? Nung first marriage, subsisting pa, nagpakasal ulit yung husband for a second time. Question. Can the first wife contest the validity of the second marriage, no? During the lifetime of the spouses, wag ko lang spouses pangit, of the parties of the second marriage. Siyempre, hindi yung first marriage ang usapan dito kasi basic lang yun. Hindi kung void yung first marriage for psychological incapacity, whatever, follow lang natin to. Diba? Ang tinatanong natin ngayon, bigamous marriage. Who can question the validity of of a bigamous marriage? So before March 15, 2003, malamang pwede mag-file yung first wife ng petition for declaration of nullity of marriage. Bakit po? Interested party siya eh. Obviously, interested siya dun sa pangalawang kasal, di ba? Kasi nga siya legal wife eh. No. Ngayon, dito po sa March 15, 2003 onwards, hindi ba pwedeng sabihin nung second wife, no? Nung pangalawang naging asawa, dapat yung first wife, hindi siya makakapag-contest. Kasi sabi nga naman, habang buhay pa kami, di ba? Habang buhay pa sila nung second wife at saka yung husband. Kasi nakalagay nga po sa AM 21110, only the spouses may attack, di ba? The status of the marriage during their lifetime. So that means ang pwede lang pong mag-contest o mag-question ng validity ng second marriage, yung second wife at saka yung husband. Tama po ba yung interpretation ng second wife? Ang sagot po, no. Hindi po tama yan. Bakit? Ito ang sagot. AM 21110, no, does not preclude a spouse of a subsisting marriage to question the validity of a subsequent marriage on the ground of bigamy. Hindi po kinokontra. On the Hindi po pine-prevent, no? Hindi pine-preclude. On the contrary, the phrase solely by the husband or the wife means the husband or the wife of the subsisting marriage. Okay? So pag po nabasa natin sa AM 21110 yung salitang solely by the husband or the wife ang pwede mag-file ng petition for declaration of nullity. Ang ibig po sabihin niya, yung husband and wife nung unang marriage. Kasi yun ang legal wife eh. Di ba? So, under Article 35 of the Family Code, bigamous marriages are void from the beginning. So, the parties in the bigamous marriage were neither the husband nor the wife under the law. Therefore, no, the husband or the wife of the prior subsisting marriage is the one who has the personality to file the petition for declaration of nullity. Okay na yan. See? That's how you will word that. No? So, paano nyo sasabihin nyo pag tinanong kayo sa exam? No? Unang-una nyo sasabihin, AM 21110 does not preclude, no, the first wife from questioning the validity of the second marriage on the ground of bigamy. On the contrary, no, the phrase solely by the husband or the wife means the husband or the wife of the first of the prior subsisting marriage. Because the parties, no, in the second marriage or in the bigamous marriage were neither the husband or the wife contemplated by the law. In other words, no, the first wife has the personality to file, or in short, no, the first wife has the personality to file the petition for declaration of nullity of marriage of the second marriage. That's how we will do it. Okay. Move tayo to grounds to nullify the marriage and grounds to annul the marriage. Ang gagawin po natin dito, tapusin muna natin yung grounds to nullify. And then after that, we go to voidable marriages, to annulment of marriage. Bakit po ganun? Para mas madali. Pinagkumpara ko po kasi ito dahil may mga magkakamuka eh. May mga hindi na magkakamuka. May similar. May related grounds like ito. Related dyan. Kaya po pinag-combine ko sila. Okay, sige. Simulan natin sa void marriage. Okay, so dito po sa ilan to? 9, no? 9 grounds, no? Para sa declaration of nullity of marriage, no? Ang mga pinagtatanungan po talaga sa bar, no? Pakitandaan po, no? Itong bigamous, no? Kasi madalas nangyayari, no? Ito pong psychological incapacity, madalas nangyayari, no? At saka po here and there, itong marriage that is contrary to public policy. Okay. So, isa-isahin takin po natin ang regardless. Iba naman po dito, natakil na natin previously. Like, halimbawa, below 18 years of age, hindi ko na kailangang pahabain pa discussion nito. Get nyo na to, no? Next, the solemnizing officer was not authorized to solemnize a marriage. No? Natakil ko na rin to unless either or both parties believed in good faith that he has authority to solemnize the marriage. So if either or both of them believe, no, hindi po mananalify yung marriage because of this ground, no? So 'di ba dun sa dun sa ship captain, airplane pilot, dyan, airplane chief, tapos dun sa military commander, natakil na natin to, di ba? Dun sa tatlo na yon, two-part segment, sabi ko sa inyo. Wag lang yung authority ang tingnan natin, pati yung marriage license. Di ba? So, pwedeng they believed in good faith na itong tao na to ay authorized. So, hindi siya mananalify because of this ground, because of authority. Pero kung hindi sila nakapag-secure sa military commander to, di ba, ng marriage license, mananalify po, di ba, yung marriage because of this ground. Di ba? Kasi doon po sa exemptions to the marriage license requirement, strict po yung law. Di ba? Pag military commander, dapat commissioned officer within the zone of military operations in Articulo Mortis and so on. No? So walang good faith. Di ba? Pag hindi mo nasunod lahat yun at wala kang marriage license, void yung kasal. Di ba? Kahit na may good faith kayo dito. No? Kasi dalawang grounds yung i-factor in natin. Kung gusto nating i-review yung discussion ko doon, balikan nyo yung previous video on that. Okay? Next. Mistake of identity, natakal ko na sa inyo. Yung normal ito, kakambal. No? Tapos yung nagpakasal, yung nag-I do sa altar, yung isang kambal. No? Okay. Natakal na rin to, no? Failure. Ito po, nagkaroon na ng judgment of nullity do sa first marriage. Pero hindi po na irehistro sa civil registry at saka sa registry of property yung judgment, partition, distribution at saka yung delivery of presumptive legitim to the heirs. Okay? So, magiging pong void yung second marriage, not because it was bigamous, but because the family could punished, no? Itong parties to the subsequent marriage for not following the law. Okay, so it's a different ground. Okay, so tapos kung ano yung mga simple, no? Incestuous marriage, no? So tandaan nyo, ascendant descendant kahit gaano kahaba, no? At by blood po ito, no? By blood lahat, no? It goes without saying, hindi po in-law to. Pag kasi sa in-law, papasok sa public policy. Okay, pag sinabi mong incest, by blood. So ascendant descendant, lolo, and so on. Ito na apo, magulang, siblings, whether half blood or full blood. Okay? Sige. Whether isa lang ang common parent, parang sa ano to? Parang sa ano to? Sa mga teleserye. May isang common parent na wala pala siyang kapatid. No? That's a void marriage for being incestuous. No? It goes without saying na pag full blood, obvious na, di ko na kailangang i-discuss sa inyo. No? At lahat po ito, tandaan natin ulit, blood relatives. Okay? Wala pong affiliation tuloy. Affinity. No? Wala pong affinity dyan. Okay? I think we're good there, no? So, we will go back na do sa matinding mga grounds. Simulan po natin sa bigamous marriage. No? Simulan natin dyan. Specifically, dun sa well-founded belief. Sinasabi natin sa declaration sa presumptive death, no? Kasi related po yung bigamous marriage at saka very important to. Natatanong to halos every other year. So, baka sa taon nyo matanong, no? Okay, I forgot to mention pala, may 10th ground. Yun yung Article 40. Yung the absolute nullity of a previous marriage may be invoked for purposes of remarriage on the basis solely of a final judgment declaring such previous marriage as void. So ito po yung sa Pulido case. No? So ito pong last ground na to, tandaan natin, iba siya sa bigamous. Okay? Kasi kung maalala po natin sa Pulido case, di ba, sabi nga dyan, you can, kung ikaw yung accused, no? you can raise, di ba, the defense of invalidity of the first marriage even without a previous judgment, di ba? Even without a final judgment declaring the first marriage as void, di ba? Why? Kasi ito pong Article 40 na yan, it's only necessary for purposes of remarriage, di ba? So sabihin natin, may dalawang kasal, unang kasal, pangalawang kasal. Yung first wife po nag-file lang charge for bigamy against the husband, sabihin natin. O ngayon, ang ground ulitin ko na lang yung discussion natin before, no? Ang ground nung husband, dapat hindi po ako ma-convict for bigamy kasi yung first marriage namin, nung first wife ko, void po yan because under 18 ako. That's a valid defense. That's an absolutory cause. No problem. Acquitted kung talagang under 18 siya. O ngayon, the next question ko nga dyan is, what is the status of the second marriage? Is it now valid? Hindi po siya valid. Because Article 40 is a ground to nullify a marriage. Kasi for purposes of remarriage, ayan tayo, there must be a final judgment declaring the first marriage as void. And without that, the second marriage will also be considered as void. Not because it is bigamous, but because we did not follow Article 40. So we need to differentiate Article 40 and bigamous marriage. Ang bigamous marriage talaga, parehong valid. Pero nagpakasal ka. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. Void yan. Void yung second marriage. Kung nagpakasal ka, parehong valid. Yung first marriage valid, second marriage valid. Void yung sorry. Yung first marriage valid, nagpakasal ka ulit ng pangalawa na mali ako nang sabi. Valid yung first marriage, nagpakasal ka ulit ng pangalawang beses. The second marriage is void. Ba't mo sinabing valid? The second marriage is void for being bigamous. Okay? As opposed dun sa Pulido. The first marriage is void. Kasi nga, tinanggap yung depensa ni husband na under 18 siya. So the second marriage cannot be declared void for being bigamous. Because it's not. Di ba, sinabi mo na, patunayan mo na sa korte that the first marriage uh, was void. So how can there be bigamy? How can there be a bigamous marriage if the first marriage was void ab initio? So the elements of bigamy cannot be proven. Diba? All of the elements cannot be proven since the first marriage was void ab initio. It is void from the very beginning. Regardless, no, however, the second marriage is still void. Not because it is bigamous, but because we did not follow Article 40. Yun lang po ang gusto kong i-point out. No? So, ulitin natin. One more time. Yung una pong senaryo, void yung una. Yung pangalawa, Article 40, void din. Yung pangalawang senaryo, valid yung una. O yung second marriage, void for being bigamous. Yun ang point ko. Okay? Yan po ang relationship ng bigamy, bigamous marriage at saka itong Article 40. Different grounds to nullify the second marriage. Tandaan niyo po itong Article 40 at saka yung bigamous marriage. Ito po pang-atake sa second marriage. Okay? At yun na lang pala sasabihin ko sa inyo. Okay? Yung Article 40 sa bigamous marriage, ito pang-atake sa second marriage. And your answer will depend, o yung choice nyo between these two grounds will depend on the status. O will depend upon the status of the first marriage. O pag valid yan, bigamos yung pang nullify mo sa pangalawa. O pag void yung una, kasi nga napatunayan, acquitted nga sa bigamy, Article 40 tayo for the second marriage. Sana po malinaw. Maganda yung pagkaka-explain ko doon. Okay, so let's go to bigamous marriage. No? So, there are two important scenarios dyan sa bigamous marriage. Yan, yung una, yung self-explanatory na. There is a subsequent marriage during the subsistence of a previous walang valid marriage. Okay? So, yun nga yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung valid yung una, nagpakasal pa ng pangalawa, the second marriage is bigamous. Okay? Ito naman ang pangalawa, ito yung talagang pinaglalabasan ng tanong, no? There is a subsequent marriage without a judgment declaring that the previous spouse is presumptively dead. Okay? Ano pa? Pwede pa lang maglagay ng isa. Subsequent marriage, papasok na rito. No? Without well-founded belief. Yon. That the spouse no, is already dead. Ayan. So yung una, walang judgment. Basically, kaya ko lang po nilayout ng ganito, no? Kaya ko lang po nilayout ng ganito kasi gusto ko lang ano, parang laruin, no? Gusto ko lang talagang i-apply, talagang intindihin yung mga requisites. Paano bang nagkakaroon ng valid subsequent marriage in case of uh, presumptive death ng first spouse? So ito po 'yan, 'di ba? Lima. Una, the marriage contracted, no, during the subsistence of a previous marriage is void unless, no, marriage contracted during the subsistence of a previous marriage is void unless, no, before the celebration of the subsequent marriage, no, the prior spouse or the first spouse had been absent for 4 consecutive years in case of ordinary absence or in case of disappearance with danger of death, no. Absence of 2 years is sufficient. No? We call this as qualified absence. So una, 4 years if it is an ordinary absence, 4 consecutive years, or 2 consecutive years, wala na consecutive, in case of qualified absence. Okay? Kumpletuhin natin. The prior spouse had been absent. Ayan. 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 We're good. Okay? That's how it works. Third requisite, no? The spouse, ito pinaka-important. The spouse present has well-founded belief, no? That the prior spouse, no, is already dead, no? Next, the absent spouse was already dead, or di pala already, was actually dead. Kasi pag hindi dead yan, mate-terminate, di ba? Tapos pala last to. Last yan, last. Kasi nga, okay yan. Tapos number 5, the absent spouse was actually dead. Kasi kung hindi dead yan, nagpakita, nag-file ng affidavit of appearance yan, dead tayo dyan. Diba? The second marriage will be terminated. Not declared void, no? Hindi siya void. Kasi finalo naman nung present spouse yung proseso, sabihin natin, finalo niya talaga yung proseso. It's just that, buhay pala yung unang spouse. So the second marriage will be declared terminated. Not void, but terminated. Anyway, ulitin natin. No? So ito po, ulitin ko, itong mga nilagay ko ditong senaryo, mga nilagay ko ditong salita, sentences, no? Well, di pala sentences, phrases, no? Ito lang po is just, these are just applications of these requisites. Ito, di ko na kailangang hindi ko na kailangang ilagyan ng in-depth pa dito na requisites kasi wala, napakasimple naman, di ba? Okay. So, ginaka natin, sige. Ito lang yun eh, di ba? Subsequent marriage, no? Was contracted during the subsistence of a previous marriage. And the previous marriage is valid. Ayan. Ayan, something like that, no? Inano ko lang ng konti, in-expound ko lang, no? Ayan, yan yun. Ba't ba ganun? There is subsequent. Ayan, mas maganda. Ayan. Okay. So ito, ulitin natin. Before the celebration of subsequent marriage, the prior spouse had been absent for 4 consecutive years. We call this as ordinary absence. Or in case of disappearance, no? With danger of death. So ano pa yung mga danger of death? Punta tayo ulit dun sa provisions on absence sa Civil Code. Yan yung uh, uh, a member of the armed forces who took part in war, diba? And has been declared missing. Yung mga yan. Okay? Ano pa yung on board a ship, on board an airplane, and uh, this ship or this airplane, no, was lost during its voyage or its trip, something like that, no? Okay, so pakibalikan na lang 'yun, no? Natakala natin 'yun sa previous video, no? 2 years lang. no? So tandaan niyo po, huwag kayong malilito. Pag in-apply sa family code yung mga militar-militar, yung mga ship, plane, 2 years lang. Pero sa civil code po, tandaan nyo, 4 years nakalagay dyan. So titingnan nyo, ano ba yung topic ng tanong, no? Pag ang tanong, about lang po sa opening of succession, doon tayo sa 4 years sa civil code. Kasi civil code naman ang wills and succession eh. So doon lang tayo. Pero if we're talking about declaration of presumptive death, 2 years. Kasi family code tayo. Yan ang nakasulat eh. 2 years, 2 consecutive years qualified absence. Ito po kaya ako binold letters to. This is the most important requisite for this one. Ito po ang nagde-determine yung well-founded belief. Yan po ang nagde-determine if the marriage, the subsequent marriage is void or not. Is void or just terminated. Sabihin natin, ayan na, sabihin natin, no, hindi naman kita tatanungin ng walang institution ng summary proceeding. Malamang sa bar exams nyo, tatanungan kayo, may summary proceeding na initiate yung spouse present. Di ba? Kasi, ano, present spouse tuloy, spouse, mamalit ako kanina, sabi ko present spouse, mali. Spouse present. Okay. Ba't naman kayo tatanungin ng walang summary proceeding? Napakadali naman ng tanong sa inyo, di ba? So, pag tinanong kayo dyan, may summary proceeding, nagkaroon ng judgment, and so on. Nagkaroon ng judgment of declaring the presumptive death of the first spouse or the absent spouse. So, walang problema doon. Dito tayo magkakaalaman. Kasi pag merong well-founded belief, kung nagpakita later on yung nawawalang asawa, yung nawawalang asawa, yung una. No? Nagpakita siya ulit, nag-file siya ng affidavit of reappearance, may well-founded belief talaga na namatay na siya. The second marriage, the subsequent marriage shall be declared as terminated only, not void. Whatever, hindi siya annulled, hindi siya void, just terminated. Kasi pag sinabi mong terminated ang isang subsequent marriage, that marriage is valid. Okay? So ano po implication nun? E di ang magiging property regime nila, absolute community. The children conceived or born during the subsequent marriage shall be considered legitimate. Diba? Pero pag wala pong well-founded belief, tandaan nyo to, if there was no well-founded belief, nagpakita yung nawalang asawa, nag-file ng affidavit of reappearance, ano po ang status nung subsequent marriage? The subsequent marriage is void for being bigamous. Kasi pag hindi mo kinumply etong lahat ng ito, saan ka papasok? Sa general rule, ito yun. Marriage contracted during the subsistence of a previous marriage is void. Why is it void? Because it is bigamous. If hindi mo kinumply yung requisites, ulitin ko, bigamous yan. O dahil bigamous yan, void yung marriage, yung subsequent marriage. So yung mga anak dyan, illegitimate. Conceived or born during the subsequent marriage. Ano pa? Aba, hindi absolute community, hindi conjugal partnership ang magiging property regime. Hindi doon. Ang magiging property regime under Article 148 of the Family Code. Yun po ang magiging property regime. So, dalawa. Top 2 effects. Top 2 implications ng well-founded belief. Kung meron o wala. Well, tatlo pala. Una, the status. Terminated versus void. Legitimate versus illegitimate children. What is the property regime? Absolute community ba or Article 148? Yan pong tatlo na yan ang effects na matindi. At doon kayo tatanungin, doon kayo i-challenge. Doon kayo i-challenge. Okay? Let's move. Ayan. Okay, so how can the subsequent marriage be terminated by the reappearance of the absent spouse? So tandaan niyo po ito, no? Hindi ko na hindi ko pa man babasahin, no? Yung discussion ko dito. Tandaan niyo, kapag nakita lang, no? Nakita lang, no? Nabuhay pala yung asawa. No? Nakita pa lang na buhay yung asawa, I'm sorry, nawala ako. Hindi po siya yung appearance or reappearance na kino-contemplate ng law. Okay? Ang kino-contemplate po ng law, dalawa yan. Either nag-file ng petition, no? Or nag-file ng affidavit of reappearance sa civil register. Okay. So, attorney, kung affidavit lang naman pala kailangan, ba't yung ibang mga absent spouse, ba't kinailangan mag-file ng petition? Kasi po, hindi po enough yung affidavit of reappearance kung ang sasabihin natin void yung marriage. Kasi pag nag-file ka ng affidavit of reappearance, ang ibig sabihin niyan, terminated lang yung subsequent marriage pero valid yun. Di ba? So iba pong mga absent spouse, nag-resort po talaga sila sa filing of petition for declaration of nullity para maging void yung subsequent marriage kasi hindi naman siya totoong nawawala. Sabihin natin, nagpunta lang ng ibang bansa, naging OFW, sinabi patay na. Okay. Now you get the point po, no? Ganun po yan. Okay. So, pag po nag-file ng petition, nag-file ng affidavit of reappearance, ayan. Considered na po siya as hindi na absent spouse, no? So, magiging na pong dissolved, whether terminated or void yung subsequent marriage. Tingnan natin yung discussion ko. Okay? So, ito yan, no? A close reading of the entire Article 42 reveals that the termination of the subsequent marriage by reappearance is subject to several conditions. First condition is, eto yan, the non-existence of a judgment annulling the previous marriage or declaring it void ab initio. Ito po, assuming na yung mismong wife, yung present spouse, sabihin natin, hindi siya nag-file ng petition to declare as null and void yung unang kasal. Kasi kung absent pa sabihin natin absent pa yung first husband. May second husband siya. Nung absent pa lang yung first husband, nag-file lang po ng petition for annulment o petition for declaration of nullity yung second wife for the first marriage. Tapos nagkaroon na ng judgment, sabi ng family court, oo nga, null and void. Eh wala nang magagawa. Wala nang magagawa yung first husband kahit mag-reappear pa siya. Kahit nag-file pa siya ng affidavit of reappearance. Wala na, tapos na usapan nun, di ba? Ang talagang magiging marriage na lang ng wife, yung second na lang. Okay? Next, recording in the civil registry of the residence of the parties to the subsequent marriage. Tandaan niyo po, hindi po sa residence nung absent spouse. Sa residence po nung subsequent marriage, yung parties to the subsequent marriage, kung saan sila currently nakatira. Doon ka dapat magka-file ng civil registry. Doon ka dapat magka-file ng affidavit sa lugar nila, sa city nila. Okay? Due notice and the fact of reappearance must either be undisputed or judicially determined. Okay. So, ayan po, no? Ito pa isa na sinasabi ko. Aside from recording the affidavit of reappearance, no, naalala ko pa pala yung mga ano ko, notes ko, no? Tama naman, no? The absent spouse can also go to court to file an action for the dissolution of the subsequent marriage. Ano yan? Pwedeng petition for declaration of nullity, no? That is also considered as reappearance na, no? Under the law. Why? Mas matindi pa nga ito eh. Court pa ito eh. Isa, ano lang eh. Di ba? Non-litigious ito, litigious pa. Eh, di morsam. Di, morsam. Morso. Oh, this is the more cumbersome, expensive remedy. Huwag natin ilagay expensive, no? Kung cumbersome na lang. Okay? Why would the absent spouse resort to this one? Okay, yan. Bakit? Ibig sabihin, bakit po kailangan mag-file ng petition? Eh, affidavit, okay na nga, no? Why why not just file the affidavit of appearance? Because a terminated marriage has effects different from a void marriage. The absent spouse should file this action if he or she seeks to declare the subsequent marriage as void for being bigamous. Yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. But sa bigamous kasi walang well-founded belief. Nagsisinungaling yung spouse present. Sabi may well-founded belief. Wala naman pala. Nang ibang bansa lang yung asawa niya, sinabi niya patay na. Bigamous yan, yung subsequent marriage. Okay? Okay na tayo dito. So dito tayo, ito talaga gusto ko i-focus. Okay? The well-founded belief. So ano po ba ibig sabihin ng well-founded belief? Ito po ang mga kailangang makita sa sagot nyo. Okay, so paano nyo sasagutin to? Sabihin natin pag nagkaroon na ng bar question about this. Ilagay nyo muna lahat ng requisites. O, ito yan. 5 na yan. Okay? Tapos, further, no? Case law dictates that there is well-founded belief, no, in the absentee's death if kailangan makita tatlo na to. Result of diligent and reasonable efforts to locate the husband o the absent spouse. Yan ang unang kailangan makita dyan. So kahit na mali reasonable, tandaan nyo lagi, meron dapat diligent effort. Pangalawang kailangan makita, there must be an active effort, not a mere passive one. Last, na kailangan makita, mere absence, lack of news, mere failure to communicate would not suffice. Tatlo. Ulitin ko, binold ko yan, nilinyahan pa natin. Diligent search o diligent efforts to locate. Number two, active effort. Number three, mere absence, failure to communicate, lack of any news. These are the things, the phrases that you have to mention para ma-describe nyo yung well-founded belief. Ano ba hinihingi natin dun sa spouse present para magkaroon ng well-founded belief? Now, let's apply it. Paano po magkakaroon ng diligent search? Kung OFW asawa mo, dapat pumunta ka talaga dun sa bansa kung saan siya nakadistino. Ipagtanong mo sa employer niya, ipagtanong mo sa agency, ipagtanong mo sa mga katrabaho niya, asan yung asawa ko? Pag hindi niya talaga makita, bumalik siya sa Pilipinas, now we can say, meron talagang diligent efforts to locate. So talagang justified siya in filing in filing the petition, di ba? To declare his spouse or her spouse as presumptively dead. Yun ang hinahanap. Kailangan may active effort. Hindi pwedeng, naku, matagal na kami di nag-uusap. Kahit na 50 years na kayong di nag-uusap. It doesn't mean. Paano po ito? Sabihin natin, nagpakasal yung, sabihin natin, nung nakadistino pa sa Philippines yung mga Amerikano. Nagpakasal yung Pinay. Nung umuwi na, bumalik na, no, tapos na yung, parang yung mission, no? Tapos na yung service nung American military officer. Umuwi na sa US. Never na nakipag-usap doon sa Pinay, sabihin natin. O sa Pinoy. Okay. 50 years na nakalipas, pwede ba natin sabihin presumptively dead na? Hindi pa din. Kasi nga kailangan diligent efforts to locate. Diligent efforts to locate. Kahit anong taon ang sabihin nyo sa akin, kahit na 60, 70, 80 years. Di ba? Kailangan may diligent effort. Okay? Kahit na ano, wag kayong malilito, kahit sabihin dyan 100 years. Okay? Wag yung ano, wag yung babaguhin yung pag-iisip nyo kasi clear na sinulat ng Supreme Court. Clear na sinabi ng Supreme Court, kailangan may diligent effort. Eh di ko 100 years nang nawawala, sabihin natin. So gusto mo magpakasal for a second time nitong Pilipina. 100 plus na rin siya, malamang. O gusto niya magpakasal dun sa boyfriend niya ngayon na 100 something years old din bago sila mawala, no? Pakasal sila kasi sila naman talaga ang nagmamahalan all these years. Sabihin natin. Kailangan may diligent effort pa din. Okay? Malamang naman, yung Amerikano na yun, hindi na rin siguro buhay. Pumunta ka dun. Di ba? O kahit i-search mo online. Patay na ba si John Doe, whoever. There must be diligent effort. Yun lang ang point ko. Actually, may isa pa kadadagdag dito eh. Mere lapse of time. No? Or mere, ano ba? Yun nga, mere lapse of time, lack of communication for a long period of time. These are not sufficient para magkaroon ng presumption of death under the family code. Tandaan nyo, ang presumption of death sa opening of succession, years lang. Okay, years lang. Mas maluwag yun. Ito iba, kasi ito kasalan eh. Okay, sana po malinaw. Pag hindi na ipakita, diligent effort, kaya kailangan ilagay niyo requisites, ilagay niyo diligent effort. Pag hindi napakita, the second marriage is void for being bigamous. Tandaan niyo yan. O dahil bigamous, ang magiging property regime, Article 148, yung mga anak sa subsequent marriage, automatic, illegitimate lahat. Ganun ang style. Okay? Okay. Okay, okay. Before pala we move to another topic, no? Ito mga examples na lang kasi to eh, no? So, ayan. Ah, ito yung gusto ko palang itakel. May isa pa akong kulang. Sabi ko, yung unang remedy, sabihin natin kung absent spouse, no? Ano yung mga remedies na pwede niyang gawin o i-file to establish that he already reappeared, no? Kasi di pwedeng appearance, ano lang, yung actual reappearance lang yan. Kailangan talaga, mayroong proseso, no? Una, di ba, filing of an affidavit of reappearance with the civil registry. Second is filing a petition to dissolve the marriage. Kaya pwedeng declaration of nullity of marriage. Ito pala yung pangatlo, hindi ko nasabi. Okay? Delay ko rito. Disregard this for now. This is just an ideal topic for CPRO. Ilagay na rin natin. Ilagay na rin natin. Okay? Another remedy is filing an action for is filing an action an action an action for annulment of judgment on the ground of extrinsic fraud. Saan po ito? No? No? In this action, yan na. The petitioner, okay? Hindi pala. The petitioner will seek to annul, no? The judgment declaring him or her presumptively dead. Ulitin natin. Yung pong una, affidavit of reappearance, ito pong pangalawa, ipapanalify natin yung second marriage. Okay? So we're talking about the marriage itself. Ito pong pangatlong remedy na di ko nabanggit, ito po, ipapaanal natin yung judgment on the ground of extrinsic fraud, yung judgment na nakuha nung present spouse, nung spouse present. Di ba, nag-file siya ng summary proceeding. Initiate a summary proceeding to declare the absent spouse as presumptively dead. Yun po ang ipapaanal natin. Okay? Hindi po iaanal yung subsequent marriage. Yung judgment. Hindi po, hindi itong annulment of judgment, hindi ito with respect to the second marriage. Kasi wala namang judgment doon. Di ba? Kasalan yun eh. Where's the judgment in that? Di ba? So, ang ipapaanal po nating judgment, yung nag-initiate yung spouse present ng summary proceeding o nagkaroon ng judgment doon, ipapaanal natin. Yung pong pagiging void nung subsequent marriage, byproduct po siya nito. No? Ialay ko rin dito. If, no? The court, no? Or if the petitioner will prevail, no? In the action, the ultimate result is, no? The subsequent marriage will be null and void. Di ba? Ino-note ko na lang pala to kasi hindi yan nakalagay doon sa kaso. Yan. Note. So in this action, the petitioner will seek to annul the judgment, declare him or her presumptively dead, yung summary proceeding. If the petitioner will prevail in the action, the ultimate result is the subsequent marriage will be null and void. Bakit? Kasi wala ng judgment. Na-annul yung judgment eh. O di walang judgment na secure yung wife o yung spouse present. O di void yung subsequent marriage. So yung pala yung pangatlong remedy. Yung mga iba ka po ditong nilagay, pakibasa na lang, no? Mga examples lang po ito. No? Mga examples lang ito. Pakibasa na lang po. Bibigay ko naman sa inyo lahat to. We can move to the next topic. Ito pala, yung what are the effects, ito lang yung kailangan nyo talagang tandaan. No? Yung dalawa na yan. Okay. Ito iba, pakibasa na lang yung donations. Actually, dito po sa ano, itong sa, saan ba yun? Ba't may ganun? Ba't may strike through? Wait. I need to see yung dun sa, yan, ito. Ito pong sa insurance policy, this is a proper topic for commercial law. No, sa insurance. So doon na lang itackle 'yan, no? Yung revoke the designation of the other spouse who acted in bad faith as a beneficiary in any insurance policy. This is a proper topic for commercial law. Okay? Itong donations by reason of marriage, pakibasa na lang at saka yung sa succession. Okay? Sige. Let's go to ano pa yung next natin kailangan i-tackle? Mag marriage that is contrary to public policy muna tayo. And lastly, saka tayo mag psychological incapacity kasi pinakamadugo sa lahat 'yon. Okay? Okay, ito pa lang sa incest, no? Itatakal pala natin mamaya yung mga siblings na yan kasi maraming nalilito dyan sa stepbrother, ah, brother-in-law, half-brother, no? Half-blood, brother pala na half-blood, brother na full-blood. Tapos yung pang legitimate saka illegitimate brother, okay? Adopted brother, may isa pa. So maraming kinds of siblings. Maraming kinds of sisters, maraming kinds of brothers. Itatakil pala natin in length later. Okay, so dito muna tayo sa... sige, dito na nga tayo sa incest muna bago tayo mag public policy kasi marami rin mga sibling-sibling dito eh, okay? So ayan, so what are incestuous relationship? Tandaan nyo, pag sinabing incest, we're talking about relationship by blood. Ascendant by blood, descendant by blood. Okay? Siblings by blood. Okay? Nakalagay po dyan sa sa Article 37 may nakalagay pang legitimate, illegitimate. Tapos nakalagay doon sa number to sa siblings whether full or half blood. 'Di ba? So basically may apat na adjectives. 'Di ba? Adjective illegitimate, adjective illegitimate, adjective yung full blood, adjective yung half blood. Ang recommendation ko po sa inyo diyan with respect to marriages, no? Whether void, valid, whatever. Kalimutan nyo na po yung legitimate at saka illegitimate. Why? Kasi po yung legitimate at saka illegitimate, important po yan for purposes of filiation, paternity, no? Anyway, sige, wag na natin masyadong pahirapin pala na it's important for paternity or filiation. Sa kanila lang natin itackle yun, no? This is how I would like to uh, this is how I would make it simpler for you. Okay? Tandaan nyo, pag sa incest, sa contrary to public policy, kalimutan nyo na yung legitimate at saka illegitimate. Okay? Kasi pag sinabi mo pang legitimate ang isang bata, titingnan mo pa kung yung magulang niyan may valid marriage o wala. Or outside or out of wedlock siya pinanganak. Masyadong mahirap. Doon lang tayo sa full at saka sa half blood to determine whether yung marriage nila void ba, valid, whatever. Okay? Tapos ikukumpara natin yan kaya mahirap sa step sibling, sibling-in-law, adopted siblings. No? Ang recommendation ko, kalimutan nyo na legitimate at saka illegitimate. Basta tandaan nyo, kasi tingnan nyo example, masyado mahirap. Sabihin natin, si A at saka si B, kasal sila. Nagkaroon sila ng anak. Si C. Sabihin natin, nabiyudo si A. Nagpakasal ulit siya sa another babae. Tapos yung babae na yun, nagkaroon sila ng anak, si D. Si C at saka si D nagpakasal. Sabihin natin, oh, that's a void marriage, right? O bago natin sagutin yon, legitimate sila o illegitimate children? Legitimate children sila pareho. Kasi parehong magulang nila kinasal. Si A, it's just that they have one common parent. Si A ang common parent nila, pero iba yung nanay nila. Yung pareho nilang nanay, kinasal. Kasi nga nabiyudo si A eh. So si A at saka si B kinasal, later on kinasal si A at saka another girl. Parehong valid marriages. So legitimate child po si C at saka si D. Okay? So sabi natin babae at lalaki sila, no? Half blood o full blood? Half blood. So legitimate sila pareho pero half blood. Hindi mo sasabihin na pag half blood automatic illegitimate kaya nga magulo eh. 'Di ba nag-criss-cross na? At hindi porket sinabi mong illegitimate siblings o illegitimate children yung mga yan, hindi na sila full blood. Sabihin natin, yung kanilang mga magulang hindi naniniwala sa kasal. Basta kami, live-in lang kami. Nakatatlo kaming anak. Lahat ng mga yun, illegitimate children. Pero lahat ng mga yun, full-blood siblings. So nagkaroon ulit ng, parang nakadiagonal, di ba? Illegitimate siblings, pero full-blood. Yung una ko example kanina, legitimate, pero half-blood. So masyadong mahirap, di ba? Hindi na natin kailangan pang pahirapan na ganun, no? Basta tayo full-blood o half-blood. Pareho man ang magulang nyo, o may isa lang kayong common parent, void marriage for being incestuous. So, ayan. Full blood, siblings, same father and mother. Half blood, same father, not same mother. Vice versa din. Pwedeng not same father, same mother. Okay. Step siblings, no? Ito po, paano natin i-illustrate to, no? Napakasimple. No? Marami pong ganito sa pelikula, no? Sa pelikulang Pilipino, no? Sabihin natin, I'm gonna draw. Para madali, no? Balik tayo dito sa ano. Ayan. Hmm. Step siblings. Okay. Si A at saka si B, si A may anak siya. Si Juan. Ayan. Sabi natin single siya. O later on, kinasal siya kay B. Single din. May anak siya si Maria. Ano ang relasyon ni Juan at saka ni Maria? They are step siblings. Why step siblings? Well, unang-una, hindi sila siblings by blood at all kasi they do not have any common parent. Wala. May kanya-kanya silang mga magulang. It just so happens na isa na lang magulang, kinasal doon sa magulang nung isa. Okay? Ulitin ko. It just so happens na yung magulang nila, kinasal sa magulang nung kabila. So basically, they are strangers. Even under sa defense of a relative sa Article 11 sa Revised Penal Code, they are strangers. So di sila papasok sa defense of a relative, sa defense of a stranger 'yan. Kasi hindi naman talaga sila related. Okay? So with that being said, pag po ba kinasal si Juan and Maria, valid o void 'yan? This is a valid marriage. Tandaan nyo ha, valid marriage yan under the family code. Okay? However, under the civil code, void po yan. Okay? Tandaan nyo ha. Kasi expressly stated po under the civil code, nung yan pa yung governing law sa marriages, that the marriage between step siblings is void. Pero ngayon po kasi sa family code, tinanggal na yan. So that is a valid marriage kasi wala naman sila sa prohibitions eh. Whether incest or contrary to public policy, wala sila. That means it's valid. Okay? So, tandaan natin na titingnan nyo kung ano ang effective law at that time. So, kailan po naging effective, no, ang family code? So, yun pala hindi ko na-mention, no? Nag-discuss tayo agad. So, kailan ang effective date ng family code? Okay, so August 3, 1988. Napakasimple. 8388. Yan. Okay? To compare, kailan po ang civil code? August din. If my memory serves me right. 30, tapos 1950. I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna confirm this one. Okay. Tama rin po ako dito. August din pa sila. 8/30/50. Okay? Mas mayroon siyang maalala. Ayan po ang effective date ng dalawa na yan. Okay? So, sabihin natin, kinasal si A at saka si B using our recent example. Kinasal sila 1950. Okay? Pakikapan ko kayo si Juan at saka si Maria, kinasal sila 1990. Oh. Walang problema dito. Wala naman tayo sinabing defect eh. Valid to, di ba? Pareho single eh. Yung using our recent example. O ito ba, yung marriage nila, valid o void? Valid din. Nilito ko lang kayo. Kasi 1990. So, nung kinasal si Juan at saka si Maria, family code na effective date. Pero sabihin natin, 1987, kinasal yan dalawa na yan, si Juan at saka si Maria. Void ito. Kasi civil code. And under the civil code, step siblings, bawal ikasal. Okay, for being contrary to public policy. Okay, move tayo to the next. So, punta tayo ulit dito sa ating reviewer. Hmm. Step sibling, sibling-in-law. Adopted, madali na ito. Matatakal naman natin adoption law later on eh. Hindi na masyadong ano muna to. Hindi siya masyadong mahirap, no? Paano natin pagkukumpara ang step sibling at saka sibling-in-law? Tandaan niyo, pag sinabi mong sibling-in-law, ito yung mga siblings by blood ng asawa mo. Okay? So, illustrate tayo ulit. Ano itsura ng step siblings? Tandaan nyo, parang box yan. Step siblings box. A, B, si Juan at saka si Maria. O, ayan. Kasi nga, ba't naging box? Kasi dalawang kasalan ang naganap. Valid, parehong kasal. Ano naman ang step siblings? Okay. Linya ito. Kinasal si Juan at saka si Maria. Tapos si Maria may kapatid. Sabihin natin si, ano ba? Maganda ka? Sino ang maganda? Ano, usual kapatid, maganda pangalan ng girl. Pedra. O sabihin natin si Pedra. Ayan. Si Pedra, sister-in-law. Okay? It's a line. It's a direct line. No? Tandaan niyo yan. Ganun lang kasimple. Yun naman ang goal ko talaga. No? Itong mga dinidiscuss natin, you can get it from anywhere, anytime. Other lecturers, other books, other materials, other reviewers, you can get all of this. So, andito po ako so that ang purpose ko talaga is to make things simpler. Yun talaga. So, uh, how can I make life easier for you pag nakasagot kayo sa bar? No? Kaya I think yun yung pang unique din sa discussion natin. Kasi ang ang goal natin is not to inform you. My goal is not to inform you, but one step deeper pa, one level deeper pa. Not only to inform you, but also to make things simple for you. So, ganyan niya pasisimplehin, di ba? Isipin niya may mga box-box pa akong sinasabi. Pag step sibling box, okay. Kapag sibling in-law, linya yan. Okay? O ngayon, pwede bang ikasal? Ngayon na naman tayo. Pwede bang ikasal? Sabihin natin si Juan, no? Tapos si Maria, si Pedra. Sabihin natin si Maria namatay. Pwede bang nagka-developan ngayon si Juan at saka si Pedra? Nagpakasal sila. Is this a valid marriage? The answer is yes. Why? Hindi naman sila by blood. So hindi sila full blood, hindi sila half blood, no? Tapos yung pong nasa Article 38 on marriages that are contrary to public policy, ang bawal lang po dyan, marriage between adopted child and legitimate child at saka marriage between adopted children. Wala akong nakita na kahit anumang void dyan between itong tinatawag nating siblings-in-law. Wala po. So, valid din po ito. Ito, valid din. No? Valid din yan kasi step siblings yan. O, ngayon. Okay? Valid po pareho. Walang problema. No? Yes. Ang bawal po na nakalagay sa Article 38, pag father-in-law. Kasi sobrang bastusan naman na, di ba? Father-in-law at saka yung sabihin natin, son-in-law. Ay, son-in-law, father-in-law. Father-in-law at saka daughter-in-law. Kabastusan na kasi yun. Iba naman yun. Yun void na yun for being contrary to public policy. Alam niyo po, no, sa Bible, meron akong hindi naman ako mabasa din, no. Pero may naalala akong story dati. Yung namamatay lagi yung husband niya. So, inaasawa niya yung mga kapatid ng husband niya. Something like that yung girl. O lahat ng marriages na yun valid. Yun lang ang point ko. Okay, valid yun. Okay? Tandaan nyo, marriage between a brother-in-law and a sister-in-law is valid pag namatay yung spouse. No? Siyempre, pag di namatay, bigamus yan. No? Marriage between step-brother, step-sister, also valid. Okay? Sige. O ngayon, next tayo. Sige, susulat ko na lang. Adopted children. O, hindi ko na kailangang pahirapan pa kayo dyan. O, di void dyan. Okay, void. Adopted children, adopted child and legitimate child. Ito po void din. Okay? Lastly, tandaan nyo pag adopted, ito natanong sa bar to, kasasagot ko lang nito recently. Adopted child at saka illegitimate child. This is a valid marriage. Tandaan nyo, pag yung unang bata inadapt, yung pangalawang bata out of wedlock, yun ang nakita nyo sa bar. Sabihin natin, pareho sila nanay. Nanay same. O yan. That's a valid marriage. Tandaan nyo ha. Kasi wala siya sa sa prohibitions eh. O di valid marriage. So yan. Usapang ah, kapatid. So, tandaan nyo sa kapatid na ganyan, ano yung mga void? Apat. Half-blood, full-blood, adopted children, adopted child, and legitimate child. Pag wala po sa apat na yon, valid marriage. Marriage between step-siblings, marriage between brother-in-law, sister-in-law, assuming napatay na yung spouse, no? Marriage between an adopted child and an illegitimate child, valid. Valid, okay? Sige. Excuse me. Doon naman tayo sa semblance of parenthood na tinatawag. Pataas pababa naman. Okay, balik tayo sa reviewer. Ayan. So, alam nyo na yan. Whether full blood o half blood na ascendant, no? Void. No? Hindi na, ang weird, no? Ang weird. Hindi kayo tatanong ng ganyan kasi sobrang basic ng tanong. At alam nating void lahat ng sagot dyan. Okay? O ngayon, step parent and stepchild. Balik tayo pala doon ulit. Dito. Di ba may box akong sinasabi sa inyo, yung box na yan. Okay. So, nagpakasal sila. No? Nagpakasal sila, pareho pong valid. Kasi ba't po valid si A at saka si B? Wala naman kasing defect. At sa pangalawa, hindi rin naman defective na step sibling sila. Wala din problema. Ito po ang problema dyan. Kapag gumanon, sabihin natin, ito namatay si A. Dead. Tapos sabihin natin, hindi sila nagpakasal, no? So si M, friends lang talaga sila. Ni Juan, no? Friends lang talaga sila. Ayan. Walang problema, no? Kaibigan lang, no? Turingan ng kapatid, no problem. Ang nangyari, nung namatay si A, yung tatay ni Juan, yung nabiyuda si B, pinakasalan niya yung anak. Basically, dumayagonal. This is a void marriage. Di ba? Kailangan meron din pala ako ano rito. Pag sa mga ganito ko, meron din akong tawag. Di ba? Ano ba to? Yung mga geometry ako. The Rogel Geometry. O may mga ganun, di ba? May mga ganun title dyan eh. Yung mga ibang nagle-lecture. Meron din ako. Meron din, joke lang. No? Ano, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay lang ako sa nagdi-discuss lang ng simple. Okay? So, ayan. Step parent and step child, void marriage. O, pag dumayagonal, void. Next. O, ito, di ba? Sabi ko straight line, JMP, si Pedra. Pahabain natin. Di ba? Ano to eh, connect-connect lang eh, oh. Para lang tayong connect the dots lang talaga. O, ayan. Magulang nito. Sabihin natin si, lalaki to one. Okay. Si Maria, si Pedra. O, sabihin natin si Nene, ang magulang. Oh, sabihin natin namatay si Maria. Namatay. Dumayagonal ulit. Valid void. Void ito. Kasi sabi ko nga, kahiyaan na, mother-in-law, son-in-law yan. Pero pag dito, tumalo na ganun, valid. Okay? Simple, di ba? Tandaan nyo, pag dumayagonal na ganun, valid yan. Ay, void, I'm sorry. O, next. Ba't na tayo dun sa discussion kasi okay na iba. Adopting parent and adopted child, malamang. Aba, grabe, trafficking yan eh. Di ba? Inadapt mo para pakasalan mo. Di ba? Hindi na aabot sa kasalan yan kung ganyan ang intensyon ng adopting parent, kulong na yan eh. Di ba? Surviving spouse of adopting parent and adopted child. And surviving spouse of adopted child and adopting parent. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Basically, parang para siyang naging parent-in-law, child-in-law. Okay? Parang naging gano'n na rin. Kasi, di ba, surviving spouse of adopting parent, yung asawa nung nag-adopt, tapos yung anak, o di parang in-law na rin, o di ba? Dumayagonal. O same thing din yung surviving spouse of adopted child at saka adopting parent, yung anak na inampon, nagkaroon ng asawa. O nung namatay yung inampon, yung magulang nung ampon, pinakasalan yung asawa niya. Anyway, sige, illustrate nga natin. Last naman na yan. After nito, pupunta na tayo sa psychological incapacity. Napaka-important. No? Okay, illustrate natin para hindi tayo malabuan dyan. O, ni una, ito adopting parent, si A. Ito adopted child, si C. O, may asawa si A, si B. Sabi natin later on, nagpakasal siya. So, nagpakasal si A kay B after niya mag-adapt. Namatay si A. Dumayagonal ulit. This is a void marriage. O, isa naman. A, ang adopting parent, no? Adoptive parent. O. Tapos, si B, yung kanyang inadapt na bata. Tapos si B later on, nagkaroon ng asawa, si C. O. Sabihin natin namatay si B. Dumayagonal ulit. Void. Okay? So it works. I think we're good there. No? Okay. Hmm. Sige. Let's move to the next topic. Meron pa palang ibang grounds na di ako nabanggit sa Article 38, contrary to public policy. Yung one intending to marry the other kills his spouse or own spouse. Tandaan nyo, dapat ang motive, no? Well, ang intention kasi dyan, under criminal law, ayan, nagkaroon na rin kayo ng discussion, how to differentiate intent and motive. Okay? Pag pinatay ng isang tao, ang intent niyan, intent to kill. Pero ano ba yung motive? Pag sinabi mo kasing motive, ano yung controlling force behind the intention? Why do we have an intention to kill this person? What motivates us? O, ang nagmamotivate sa atin, gusto nating pakasalan yung asawa niya. O, pag ganun, ang intention mo to kill this spouse, ano yung motive mo? 'Di ba? Na-explain. Kasi mo nasa family code tayo, natakil pa natin yung criminal law, 'di ba? Tumrowback pa tayo bigla, no? Ulitin natin. Ayan, illustrate ko na nga rin. Sige. Lastly pala, no, ito pala bago pala natin itakil tong bago natin itakil yung intention to marry the other. Relatives by consanguinity within the fourth civil degree. Hanggang ano yan, pinsang buo at saka tito. Void yan. Pero pag pinsa makalawa, valid. Pinsa makatatlo, valid. You get the point, no? Basically, ano lang yan, pagbilang lang ng degrees, no? So, fourth civil degree, tito, pamangkin. Of course, tito, may tito nga din, may pamangkin din. Tito, pamangkin, buo. Titong buo, pamangkin buo. Kasi lahat sa Pilipinas, tito natin eh. Titong buo, ibig sabihin natin. Pag sinabi mong titong buo, kapatid ng magulang mo. Okay. Pamangkin buo, anak ng kapatid mo. Basically, ayan, mga void yan, no? Tapos, pinsan buo. Void din. Pinsan makalawa, makatatlo, distant, malayo ng kamag-anak, valid marriage. Okay? We're good there. Punta tayo sa intent to marry the other. Pasimplihin natin ulit. So, di ba? One with the intent to marry the other. Kills his own spouse. Kills own spouse, other spouse. Actually, mali nga. Nakalagay dito. Sorry, ang pangit na sulat ko, no? Pero you get nyo naman yung sinasabi ko. I'm speaking naman while I'm writing. Ang intent mo talaga dito to kill. Di ba? Motive mo, pakasalan yung kabila. So, dapat, there must be intention and there must be motive. Both of these must be present dun sa facts. What do I mean by that? Pag wala yung isa, valid yung marriage. Illustrate natin. Okay. Sabihin natin, si A, pinatay niya si B. Ang asawa ni B, si C. Okay? Nakasal sila. Ayan. Pinatay ni A si B because, sabihin natin, enemy sila. Sabihin natin, pagka wala ni A, once he is freed, from prison, niligawan niya si C, nagpakasal sila. Nagpakasal, no? So grabe ang savage ni C, di ba? Yung killer ng asawa niya, pinakasalan niya. Question, is this marriage valid or void? Valid? Kasi bakit? Wala po yung motive. The motive dapat para maging void under Article 38 to marry the spouse, si C. Nung pinatay niya to, ang motive niya talaga, kasi gusto niya patayin yung kaaway niya. May intention to kill siya. Ala naman tayong problema ron eh. Di ba? Pinatay niya. Okay? Pero iba ang motive. Kasi gusto kong tapusin na ang away namin. Magkaaway kami. Oh. Wala yung motive. So, valid yung marriage. Nakulong nga lang siya, pero valid yung marriage. Next. Ay, Okay. Sabihin natin, ito, walay motive ha. So, no motive dito. The motive must be to marry the other spouse. Eh. No motive in this case, valid yung marriage. Kasi the motive is different. Di ba? Enemies kasi sila. O, next naman. A, B, C. Sabihin natin, napatay ni A si B due to reckless imprudence. Pinakasalan niya later on. Si C. O, di ba? Nagpakasal. Valid o void? Valid. Valid. No? Kasi walang intent. Hindi mo intention patayin yung tao eh. Reckless imprudence nga eh. Nasagasaan, whatever. Okay? We get the point. We get the point. Okay. Wala nga ding motive dito actually. No? Pero gusto ko lang i-point out sa inyo na pag negligence, ang dahilan ba't napatay ang isang tao, later kung pinakasalan nung nakapatay, yung asawa nung namatay, valid yung marriage. Okay? Sige. Now, we're finished with Article 38. We can now go to psychological incapacity. Madugong discussion. Nakalagay nga dito, tingnan nyo, 7 principles. Di ko alam kung 7 pa to eh. A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. O, tingnan mo, 6 na lang pala, nabawasan. 6 principles. Okay? Ayan, tan-andal. Alam niyo naman yan. Actually, hindi na tan-andal ng ano eh. Mas maganda. Kasi sa tan-andal, mahaba yung discussion. Lalagyan ko pala rito. Itong kaso ni ano, Pugoy Solidum. Mas maganda. Mas pinaiksi, no? Versus Republic. Recent pa yung case. No? Okay, so minodify na po yung guidelines. No? Hindi na modified guidelines under the Molina case. Modified guidelines na. Under the Tan Andal versus Andal case at saka reiterated sa Pugoy Solidum. Yung Pugoy Solidum nga pinaiksi talaga eh. The case made it simple for everyone. So ito po yung mga kailangan mapatunayan ng petitioner para magkaroon ng favorable judgment sa petition for declaration of nullity of marriage. No? Una, the psychological incapacity must be shown to have been existing at the time of the celebration of marriage. So juridical antecedents yan. Next, the psychological incapacity must be caused by a durable aspect of one's personality structure, one that was formed prior to their marriage. O di parang juridical antecedents din, di ba? Iniling ko na lang talaga sa juridical antecedents din. Kasi ang point po ng juridical antecedents, para kung gusto kong i-analyze po yung mga kaso na nagkaroon ng psychological incapacity talaga, dapat maipakita ng petitioner na before their marriage, hindi actually existing at the time eh. Actually, mas matindi pa, no? Dapat nung magjowa pa lang kayo, nakakakita ka na ng signs. Okay, sabihin natin, gay pala, no, yung husband. Kung naging gay lang siya, nung kasal na sila, denied ang petition. Dismiss, I'm sorry, denied tuloy. Dismiss ng petition pag pala deny motion. Okay. Denied ang motion. Ay, nalito na. Denied ang petition. Okay? Pero pag naipakita nung petitioner na yung husband nagkaaroon na ng manifestations of being gay nung magjowa pa lang sila, aba baka mag-grant yan. Baka mag-grant yan. Why? Kasi pag sinabi mong existing at the time of the celebration of marriage, ang totoo niyan talaga, it was formed prior to their marriage. Before pa lang, pathological liar na. And so on. Okay? Next, gravity. The psychological incapacity must be caused by a genuinely serious psychic cause. Ngayon, attorney, ano ba ibig sabihin ng serious psychic cause? Alam nyo, para madali ang kayo dyan, ipapakita ko sa inyo kung ano ba yung hindi serious. Ito mga examples. Kasi ano yan, masyadong how do we determine serious psychic cause? Hindi naman tayo doktor, no? Lawyer tayo, pero may mga doktor na naging lawyer. I'm just saying, paano kung lawyer lang? Okay? Like me. Ito ang sagot dyan. What is not serious? Not getting along. Diba? Simple, no? Irreconcilable differences and conflicting personalities. These are not serious psychic causes. Ano pa? Habitual alcoholism, sexual infidelity, perversion, abandonment, not serious psychic cause. Inability to conceive a child. Paano naman naging psychic yun? Eh, physical yan, di ba? Immaturity, jealousy, maltreatment, abandonment, laziness, not serious psychic cause. Okay? Ganun. That's how you understand it. Pero tingnan yung example ko sa inyo kanina, paano kung gay pala? Even before nagkaroon na ng manifestation, even before na magjowa pa lang sila, alam na nung wife, no? Sabihin natin na nagkaroon ng karelasyon yung kanyang husband na ibang lalaki. Tapos, it persisted even during their marriage. Aba, baka mag-grant ang petition mo. Kasi serious psychic cause yun. Hindi lang naman away yan eh. It's about the person. Okay? Di ba? That's how you ano eh. Hindi mo naman kailangang i-define sa sa sagot mo sa bar kung ano ba serious psychic cause. Okay? Hindi na. No? Ilagay mo na lang yan. Irreconcilable differences, not getting along, alcoholism, addiction, mga ganyan. Di sila. Okay? Okay tayo. Sige. Next. Incurability. Akala nung iba, tanggal ng incurability sa requisites. Hindi po. No? Kung makikita natin yung sa Pugio Solidum, wala man siya doon sa listahan. Sa next two paragraphs, binanggit yung incurability. No? So, dapat inilagay din siya doon sa listahan sa taas. No? Sabi diyan, the psychological incapacity, ito verbatim naman to, no? Kinopy lang natin sa kaso. Under Article 36, must now be incurable, not in the medical, but in the legal sense. No? So kaya po later ko itatakal din natin another important principle for psychological incapacity, hindi na po kailangan ng psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, no? Thus, this is what incurability means. It must be so enduring and persistent with respect to the specific partner that the only result of the union would be the inevitable and irreparable breakdown of the marriage. Ang suggestion ko sa inyo, ito lang ang tandaan niyo for incurability. Inevitable and irreparable breakdown of the marriage. Yun lang. Actually, apat pala. Sorry, nakalimutan ko. Enduring, persistent, irreparable, inevitable. So, alam niyo na, mahilig tayo sa descriptive words. It's enduring, it's persistent, it's inevitable, it's irreparable. Oh, 'di ba apat? Okay? That's incurability for you. And lastly, this must be established by clear and convincing evidence. What is clear and convincing evidence? Quantum of evidence that is more than preponderance of evidence but less than proof beyond reasonable doubt. Okay. Nalagay ko na rin pala dito. O, ayan. Tandaan natin psychological incapacity is not mental incapacity nor personality disorder. Okay? It's just instead there must be proof that the spouse's personality structure must make it impossible for him to comply with his essential marital obligation. So, basta pag tinanong kayo, hindi iba-iba yan. Iba-iba yan, no? Sa case to case basis talaga siya. What does essential marital obligations mean? Kasali po ba rito ang obligasyon ng magulang sa bata? Tama nga naman kasi pag sinabi mong marriage, dapat mag-asawa lang. So yung obligasyon ng tatay sa anak, dapat hindi kasali. Mali po yun. Ang interpretation po, pag sinabi natin essential marital obligations, kasama po yung obligasyon ng magulang sa bata. Sabi po kasi sa Tanandal, no, are those embraced by Article 68 to 71, Articles 220, 221, 225 as regards the parent and child. So kasali. So ulitin natin, it does not have to be proven through expert opinion. Pero siyempre, ideal kung may expert opinion, di ba? Kasi mas maganda yung ebidensya mo. Yung annexes mo, exhibit mo, mas maganda. Pero hindi rin po kailangan. Kasi po dun sa Tan Andal case, hindi naman po nagkaroon ng ano dyan eh. Ang nag-testify po talaga, yung mga kasama nila sa bahay, kasama nila sa buhay na hindi talaga capacitated yung husband, no, to comply with the essential marital obligations. Ganun po ang nangyari dyan. No? Okay lang yun, no? Kasi nga, hindi ito medical. This is a legal principle. Okay? Ordinary witnesses who have been present in the life of the spouses before the latter, tandaan nyo before the latter contracted marriage may testify on the behaviors that they have. Bakit po before? Kasi kailangan ma-establish nyo juridical antecedents. Okay? Pag after na lang yan, how can this person prove that the incapacity was already existing at the time of the marriage? Hindi niya pwede. Kung kasambahay yan, dapat kasambahay nila, magjowa pa lang sila. Pag naging kasambahay nila yan, nung kasal na sila, wala. Hindi pwede. Kasi in juridical antecedents ng ordinary witness, he or she cannot establish it. Okay? But naulit. Okay, anyway, okay na yan. Pakibasa na lang po examples, no, of psychological incapacity. No, dalawa yan. No? Chiming Choi, hindi po dahil maiksi yung alam niyo na, hindi po yun ang dahilan bakit na grant yung petition, hindi yung whatever meron man sa reproductive organ. Kaya po na grant yung petition kasi there is continuous and unexplainable refusal to have sex for an unreasonable period of time. 'Di ba? Kinasal pa lang sila, ayaw makipag-sex, ba't nagpakasal pa kayo? 'Di ba? That's a personality, mayroong problema sa personality nung husband. Okay? Kasi bakit? 'Di ba? One of the purposes of marriage is to consummate the marriage, quote unquote, consummate, 'di ba? And to bear children. Ito namang isa, ito mas gusto ko to si Antonio Verse Reyes. Bakit po na grant ang petition? Maraming dahilan, no? Pathological liar yung asawa, no? At yung pagiging sinungaling niya, it was already existing nung magjowa pa lang sila. Puro ganun lagi, guys. At pag nakita ko yung mga bar questions, meron akong nakita ng lalaki, nagsugal, nananakit ng asawa, nananakit ng anak, nagtangka pa ng buhay sa asawa niya. The petition must be denied. Why? Kasi hindi po naipakita sa bar question na yun na itong aggressive behavior at cheating behavior ng asawa, nung wife, existing na nung magjowa pa lang sila. Kahit gaano kagrabe yan. Okay? Ito pong sa pathological liar kung titingnan nyo. Ito po, yung mga yan, sinasabi na nung wife, magjowa pa lang sila. Okay? She concealed the fact that she has an illegitimate son and introduced him as the adopted son of her family. She lied that her brother-in-law tried to rape and kill her. She must represented herself as a psychiatrist na naging siyang singing talent ng Black Gold Recording Company. She invented friends whom she was sending lengthy letters to. She lied that she was well off, no? So mayaman sa buhay. She exhibited insecurities and jealousies over him. Juridical antecedents was present in this case. Why? The respondents told these lies to the petitioner before they were married. So ganun lang. Yung talaga ang pinaka-important na requisite dyan sa psychological incapacity. At yan yung trap. Yan yung, hindi naman trap, yan yung key para makasagot kayo ng full credit. Tingnan nyo kung meron ng manifestations na nung magjowa pa lang sila, masama na ugali, sabihin natin. Meron na talagang maling ginagawa or may manifestations na ano siya, LGBT. Okay? Pag ganun ang style, pwedeng mag-grant. Sagot nyo grant dyan, no? Depende pa rin kung serious pa o hindi. Kasi may another question, naging germaphobe yung asawa niya because of pandemic. Hindi yung serious psychic cause. Di ba common sense lang yan eh. Kung naging germaphobe na talagang 10 times naliligo everyday, that's not enough. Di ba? Kahit nasabi natin, germaphobe din siya nung jowa pa lang niya. Talagang 10 times naliligo a day, bawal siyang hawakan kung hindi ka nag-alcohol, mga ganun. That is not serious enough. Di ba? Ano masama maging malinis? It's common sense. Okay? So, tingnan nyo rin. No? Ganun lang. Basta yun ang pinaka-important niya sa lima na yan, yung dalawa na yun. Juridical antecedents at saka yung gravity. Okay? Okay. Sa denied, basahin nyo na lang, no? Okay, we're done with psychological incapacity. Ito pala yung last, no? Okay na to, natakal ko na tong under Article 53. Ito pala. Children conceived or born before the judgment of annulment under Article 36 and under Article 53 considered illegitimate. Ay, legitimate. Tandaan nyo ha, pag voidable marriage, legitimate ang anak. Bakit? Kasi avoidable marriage is a valid marriage, but it was annulled. Okay? Valid yan. So, ang anak, pag voidable na marriage, ang mga anak nila, legitimate. Pag na-declare void yung marriage for psychological incapacity, valid din. Ay, valid din. Void yung marriage, pero legitimate yung mga bata. Ito rin pong Article 53. Ito. Kasi hindi naman po bigamous yung marriage na declare void yung kanilang subsequent marriage kasi hindi sila sumusunod sa batas. Yung mga anak po nila, legitimate children. Okay? No? Children conceived or born of the subsequent marriage under Article 53 shall likewise be considered legitimate. Okay? Basahin nyo na lang po examples, no? Okay, so after this, tackle na natin, voidable marriages na tayo. So we will go up ulit, titingnan natin yung mga grounds dyan, yung mga force, intimidation, fraud, STD, and so on.